Halifax. Mandatory penalty right on the halfway line. That's senseless football. I did say that Anderson was going to kick off. Well, Whitfield actually kicked the ball, but Anderson was the man who put it on the mark. Mal Meninga will kick for touch from midfield. This will give the Australian side the opportunity from a tap to start to try to assert some superiority in the forwards, which is the hallmark of their football over here. Now, this is a big, strong, tough pack with a couple of very sharp halves. Okay, Elias gets it away to Dunn. Dunn goes straight ahead. A little bit of tough stuff going in there. And that's number 8 there, Brian Juliff, getting a penalty against him straight away for just failure to get off the tackle player and giving the opportunity to Australia. I think Mal Meninga will probably come over and take this. And big Mal has been running with great speed and confidence. No, he's going to kick for touch. The breeze is quite strong in at ground level. He's taken the tap. He's taken the kick for touch, and it's not a bad one. It's gained about 23 metres and taken play to within about 12 metres of the goal line. Bella goes straight ahead. Big tough fella. He's out to do some good for himself in this tour, believe you me. Only 23 years of age. Benny Elias, the swing away to Meninga. There's a terrible pass from Mal Meninga. Goes straight over the sideline. Badly directed. He was looking to find either Langmack or Kenny. Kenny's on the right wing. One of only 2 test players playing in this match. Noel Cleal's the other. That's in and out. The Halifax side fed by Stevens as Anderson. The kick is ricocheted. It'll be taken by Belcher. Knocks it sideways. Lost it. Taken there by Whitfield, and Whitfield's the best player on the field for Halifax at the moment. He's chasing everything. Out they go, but there's been a ball put out and Australia come up with it. Meninga gets a pass given to him off the ground, and Meninga on the charge and takes it about 15 metres through the meat of the Halifax ruck there and really sorted a few out. Elias away there to Bella. Bella just needs to calm himself down with his passing. He's running strongly, but just ill-directs occasional passes. Elias, the dummy, ran at the wrong time. He's made himself a little bit of a patsy on that occasion. Right on the halfway line. Gets up, plays it forward, goes again, looking for support. There was none there. Chris Mortimer was the closest Australian. He was well away. Up to Dunn. Dunn winding up, charging forward. Good defence, though. Let's be commending this Halifax defence. They're coming in strongly. Elias away to Alexander. Out to Lamb. The cut-out pass straight out there to Langmack, standing wide. He lost the ball. It's picked up there, and now it's lost by a Halifax player, number 11 there, Peter Bell, and a scrum will go down. Now this will be a feed to the Halifax side. And a penalty now. That signal just eludes me slightly. I think he's intending to indicate that the Australian front row are going down low and coming up underneath the Halifax pack. Whitfield takes the kick. And he's found the roof of the stand. Quite a chant set up and some singing in the background. The referee wants them to come back to the mark. Here they go now, and away it comes there to Peter Bell. Big, strong player, but he's unseated there with strong defence by Dunn. Out they go. Stevens working the angles, tries to work it back to the blind side. Belcher's there. Will he get to it? No, it's a well-judged kick by Stevens. A gain of about 25 metres and puts the Australian side for the first time back in their own quarter. And this will be a scrum feed to the Australian side. It didn't touch any of them as it went over the sideline. I was just thinking Gary Stevens must be a pretty fair age. That scrum is won well by Australia. Alexander's ridden to the ground. Gets up throwing a few punches. He doesn't need to do that when he's in possession. As a matter of fact, it's a dumb thing to do. You always cop it sweet when in possession. Benny Elias onto young Davidson, the South Sydney utility forward, and he takes about 7 metres off the Halifax team. Elias pumping it out to Dunn. Dunn playing very strongly. Only one way for this fella. He goes straight and hard. He'll start to release the ball as the game progresses. Out to Meninga. Meninga has his kicks semi-charged down. Australia all onside. Lamb's in possession. Gets a pass away out there to Bella. Bella goes up the sideline, gets it to Kenny. It's back inside to Lamb. Lamb will go close. He's tackled only about a metre short of the line and over the sideline. Good defence by Halifax. And now there's going to be a scrum to go down there. About 15 metres out. The referee has ruled there was a forward pass. Anyway, an inspiring bit of football there by Terry Lamb, who smelt a try at the end of that. He was absolutely like a prehensile animal the way he chased that rebound. It was a great bit of football by him. He handled the ball twice in the move. An awful looking scrum. Surely he's not going to let that go. God, spare me days. What a horror. The whole lot of them, the 12 of them, all on top of each other, and he determines that there's no penalty out of that. I don't know how you'd come at that decision. Anyway, Halifax in possession. And they're just inside their own quarter at the moment, doing it hard, trying to get away through this Australian pack. Some very, very solid defence coming in. That's Peter Bill. He's had a couple of strong charges and ended up on the broad of his back. That's out on the flat kick. Well, I think it was Stevens that put it in. Yes, it was. And over the sideline she goes. No, it might have been Chris Anderson. The referee is now going to give a penalty to Halifax because there was a late tackle. That's, in his opinion, an Australian player shoulder charged one of the Halifax players coming through. Whitfield to take the kick. He's got it over the sideline, very nearly through our commentary position. And now the crowd set up a roar for Halifax. They're in the Australian territory with 2 balls on the field. OK, here we go. Chris Preece gets the pass away. It's gone on to Keith Neller, young Australian from the Brisbane club. And now Stevens at dummy half. He looks for support. He gets it away there to Brian Juliff, one of the prop forwards. He makes a bit of an inroad. Now Stevens running, gets a long cutout pass. Oi! Mal Meninga came in with a crushing tackle there. It's gone out there to Steve Smith, and Smith has taken play to within 8 metres of the Australian quarter line. To his feet, plays it to Preece. Preece gets it to Stevens. Stevens gets a little kick through, and it's going to be a penalty for interference. And now there's been a little bit of back chat by Bella, who should keep his mouth shut. Benny Elias says exactly the same thing. The referee is always right, and he's walked him 10 yards. Now, Bella, you've got to keep your tongue between your large teeth. There's a little replay, and there's no doubt in the wide world that Sironen held on to the player coming through, Stevens. There's no question about that. What I'm concerned about is Australian players questioning the referee's decision and conceding additional yardage. Now, Whitfield is going to take this kick. Now, if he kicks as straight as he runs, he's a very, very quick player, this fellow. I'd love to see him get in the clear. And not score a try, of course, but I'd love to see him get in the clear. The penalty situation at the moment is starting to get away from Australia slightly. Halifax 4 and Australia 2. Now, Whitfield, he's 3 metres inside the quarter, and he's about 22 metres in from the sideline. I see that he's around the corner-style kicker. This should be a fairly simple kick for a good goal kicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, strikes it. He's driven it hard to the right, allowed for a breeze that didn't come to it. So the score remains as it was, Australia 0, Halifax 0. And back with the quarter line dropout. Lamb gets a low trajectory kick. It's not a bad one. Eadie's got it. The crowd rise. The big fella charges, and he's taken it up to the halfway line. Good stuff. That's a little bit of vintage Graham Eadie. I don't know whether he'll be able to keep it up for the full match, but anyway, it's great stuff to see. Peter Bell makes a run, gets it away to Anderson. Anderson's caught by the jersey from Alexander, and I think got a little short right to the jaw there in that little exchange. Stevens electing to get a pass away, gets it out there to the replacement winger, Scott Wilson. And he's tackled on the halfway line. Halifax putting in a good display. They're showing tons of enthusiasm, but not making easy work of getting through the Australian defence. Up very quickly there, Benny Elias. That could have been a little... there's a kick ahead. It's been kicked again twice. It's ricocheted off an Australian player. That'll be a knock-on. That was Hague who came through on the kick and chase, and that was nearly... a dramatic moment for the Australian side, but it did ricochet off an Australian leg. Stevens to feed the scrum. Elias is only just getting his head down now. Now Stevens. That was one a little belatedly. Stevens loses the ball. It's picked up there by Alexander. That's a sad bit of work. Away it goes now out for Langmack. Langmack away to Bella. Bella goes straight and charge. Very direct player, this fella. Very powerful. Enormously keen to do well. Davidson running, gets a head-high tackle. And the referee's ruled on a forward pass there. I thought he was going to rule on a stiff arm tackle up high, up above the neck. Well, it'll be another feed to Stevens. Halifax putting the scrum down just on the halfway line. That's the halfway through the Australian scrum. Stevens gets it in, and it's out the Australian side. Alexander goes for a sprint, tries to get through working with Belcher there, but Belcher and he actually collided. but still it was a gain of about 10 metres. He's lost the ball. It's picked, stolen by Eadie. It's given back there on the inside to number 12, Paul Dixon, and he's straight away put down by Langmack. And now Dixon going for another run from dummy half. No marker there on that occasion. And that ball was struck for it. Should be 6 to go. The referee didn't see it that way. Very heavy defence coming in from Australia now, right on the halfway line. That was number 11 there, Peter Bell, and he was put down substantially. Stevens goes for the kick downfield. Belcher's back on the chase. It shouldn't find touch. He gets a fortuitous bounce. There's plenty of defence coming to him. Belcher's got plenty of pace. He gets a pass away nicely to Kenny. Kenny's caught by the jersey, and the Halifax side showing plenty of enthusiasm to chase anything put through to the Australian side. Belcher running from dummy half. And they're tackling like the Australians at the moment. This might be a very hardly won win, if indeed it will be a win. It's scoreless at the moment. Sironen not standing deep enough, but he still makes a very, very solid charge and gets a belt in the face through his brains from Keith Neller. Up it comes to Dunn. Dunn has tripped in a Cumberland throw there, and there's another trip by a player in an offside position. Benny Elias has gone from dummy half and made a run up over the halfway line. Dunn was on the inside screeching for it. It's Langmack at dummy half. He fires it out to Lamb. Lamb goes to the kick downfield. It's not been a kick for touch. It's going to go towards the goal line. It'll go into the end goal where Eadie beautifully half volleys it. He's got support there, gets a beautiful pass away, and that was a real bit of lovely football from Graham Eadie. Half volleyed the ball well. He's certainly giving value for money. That was Scott Wilson, the player who took the pass from him. Another good strong run from Peter Bell coming around the blind side of that ruck, and the Australians a little bit tardy in covering up the blind side area. Anderson goes for the kick downfield. Belcher will field this, does it nicely on the halfway. Belcher, a very, very adventurous runner, and he is a real crowd pleaser. Now Meninga trying to go straight through, and oh, he gives a handoff to one of the Halifax players that drove him backwards about 5 metres. Now it's Davidson. Oh, he very nearly popped a pass there, and it was Langmack trailing him like a shearer's dog on that occasion. Elias away to Bella. Bella running strong and hard up to the quarter line, still going, taking a power of pulling down. Play about 18 metres out now from that Halifax line. Now Benny Elias away to Lamb. Lamb then to Alexander. The pace of the man gets it through the first tackle, pops a pass nicely out to Belcher. Belcher should go and score. Got a pass away badly, and it's picked up by Eadie, and that's the first bomb try by Australia. They had a great opportunity to score there, and Belcher threw an ill-advised pass. They would have certainly scored from the dummy half replay. There it is. The pass attempted to come back into Lamb. It does appear that Lamb dropped that, as though he dropped it. We don't have a head-on shot here, but it did seem to come off his hand. And I think he used a very favourite Australian expression there to express his dislike of the fact that he dropped it. Anyway, Halifax back in possession now, just in their quarter. And there's Hague, the 5'8", trying to go up the blind side. Last tackle coming up. We've had about 16 minutes of play as far as I can deduce. There's no ground clock. Lamb. Belcher's going to chime in. Lamb looks for a support. It goes out there to Kenny. Kenny's given a strong tackle that puts him down. And that was an ill-directed pass by Lamb. There he had Belcher on the fly. Under Crusher Cleal, who's come from one wing to the other. And Crusher swore to me today he'd score a try within the first 15 minutes of this match. He's got about 30 seconds left to do it. Still the Australian side on the move, getting to within about 10 metres. Elias on the sprint. It's away to Dunn. Dunn trying to turn and to tackle. Does, gives it to Elias. Elias on the surge. And they're only about 3 metres out now from the Halifax line. Still no score in this match. And probably about 16 and a half, 17 minutes gone. Alexander, oh dear, trying to be too cute. Trying to be too cute, Australia. Alexander tried to do a Peter Sterling there to pull the opposition player to him and then put a player through the gap. And all he succeeded in doing was putting the pass straight in the middle of the back of Les Davidson. Yes, Graham, you're watching it from a different angle at ground level. Are you enjoying the scene, and are you cold?
I'm nice and cold, all right, Rex, but a great start by Halifax. Chris Anderson's taken a leaf out of all of his Australian learning and knowledge. A big kicking game for Halifax. Australia have got to be wary of it. Greg Alexander, the man in question, has got to be wary, dropping back in that second line. And Australia just got to stop trying to push the passes. Gary Belcher knows a lot better. Noel Cleal's the man that should have scored in this left-hand corner. He was unmarked. Belcher tried to throw the dummy and do Eadie. Wasn't required, and also Greg Alexander a few moments ago trying to push the ball too late when a quick pass was on. Australia certainly had the numbers out wide, putting pressure on themselves.
OK, we're back with the action here, and it's the Halifax side, as Graham has mentioned, doing a pretty useful job here, showing great enthusiasm. And the kicking game from Whitfield, he's kicked down the right. It'll go out towards Crusher Cleal, who'll take it on the bounce. He winds himself up, beats one tackle. Stevens hangs to him like a limpet. And that's a Cumberland throw type of a tackle from the little fella, who gets a bit of an elbow in the face from Crusher Cleal. He can't get up and play the ball. Out there to one off on the blind side to Sironen. And that was a bit of senseless dummy half play there by Australia, because there was only the one player on the blind side, Sironen. You don't pass to the weak side. Away they come to Dunn. Dunn tries to pop a pass there. Again, there were a number of players on the open side and not very well positioned on the blind. A little bit more selectivity with their dummy half work. Out to Alexander, sights a gap, looks for support. There could have been a Shepherd. He's got it on to Meninga. Meninga gets it back into Lamb. And Lamb will go and score the first Australian try. Classy stuff. Alexander, I thought, might have just gone a fraction too far at the start of that move, but we're going to see it again, and you'll be the judge. But there's the man that really loves to score the tries. Now, here it is. Alexander used his pace, went a little bit too far. Could have been a Shepherd there. A lot of Sydney referees would have ruled Shepherd on Terry Lamb, but Meninga went through the gap, got it back inside to Lamb, and Lamb used his unquestioned pace to score his 9th try of the tour, and that done in 2.5 games, or about 2.5 games of actual football. And that's the 20th minute, and the Australian side lead by 4 points to 0. Terry Lamb will take the conversion attempt. Very simple position, directly in front on the 10-metre line. 9 tries in 2.5 games is pretty full foraging. Here's Lamb. Oh, it went way offline, but he's got it. So the score remains now Australia 6, Halifax 0. And back they come to halfway. And it's Whitfield, the man who's going to put this ball on the mound and kick it, and away she goes. Now let's see whether that try might just sort of temper the enthusiasm. That's no knock on as far as the I'm concerned. It hit the player Belcher on the legs in the in-goal area. The referee saw that exactly the same way. Now on to Elias, and he's found a gap right next to the ruckman. Charges through. Gets a little bit of a workout from Stevens. Nothing he can't handle. Stevens has got to be onside, surely. He's come round and handled the ball in a ruck. He's handled the ball between the dummy half and the man that was playing it. And then gets up and plays it sideways. Some weird rules. Mal Meninga in with a very strong tackle there on Brian Juliff. And the Halifax side on the Australian quarter line. Away comes Keith Neller. One of the Australians on this side. Running around the ruck comes Grant Rix. He's going to be the first man received on the open side. Rix gets it away there to Hague. Hague back on the inside there to number 12, Paul Dixon. And Dixon tackled just short of the quarter line, midfield. Away they come on the blind side. Peter Bell up over the Australian quarter line. 6-0 Australia lead. A dummy half there. Chris Preece. Stevens out to Hague. Hague's gone for the kick downfield. Might be a bit too big, that one. It's going to bounce. No, it's a good kick. It bounces for Crusher Cleal. And Crusher beats one man, 2, 3. Takes it over the quarter. Great run by the big fella. He's enjoying his stint out in the wing. Done a couple of very good things. Crusher got up and waved one of the Halifax players back out of the way. Oh, and now Bella's had the ball stolen from him in a tackle by Hague. And there's a good run there by number 11, Peter Bell, to come around the edge of the ruck and take play midway between the Australian quarter and the halfway. 6-0 Australia lead. Lamb, the try scorer, and the kicker. Oh, Meninga very nearly pulled off an intercept. Very, very close. One-handed reach for the ball there that was on. It was a long torpedo-like pass that was thrown, and it was just begging to be intercepted. He was only probably an inch or so short of making that into another try. And here it comes, a long pass from Hague. And look at that great right hand going out there, and very close to pulling it down. Gary Stevens feeding the ball for this Halifax team. He must be into his 30s now, one would think. That's a Halifax win. Away it goes to Hague. Hague gets a pass away to Eadie. Eadie's got it to Anderson. Anderson's upfield. He's searching out for his winger there. Number 2, Scott Wilson. Wilson comes back infield and is tackled very effectively there by Alexander. Now there's Pignard out on the left-hand side of the ruck, on the open side. Away they come. Strong defence out in midfield by Davidson to upend Brian Juliff. And Juliff seemed to make a charging motion there with his head down. Australia have been pinged for offside in the ruck. And that penalty tally now moves on to 6-2 in favour of the Halifax team. Nobody arguing with that. The referee, in effect, has been a pretty useful referee. There's been the one horrible decision he made when Stevens jumped around from a play the ball that Australia were getting up to play, and then fell on the ball between the man that was playing the ball and the dummy half, which is a ruck, and he should have been penalised for it, handling the ball in the ruck. Colin Whitfield attempted his first goal from almost a similar position. Perhaps this is slightly simpler. It's just outside the quarter. He's almost midfield. He knows the direction of the wind now. He struck that straight. He struck it hard. It hits the roof, and that's the first blood to Halifax. Australia 6, Halifax 2. Okay, here we go. Mal Meninga gets them away with a kick, and that's gone to Rix, and he's going to try to bring it out. It's a weaving run, and it sees him unseated just inside the quarter. Chris Preece is at dummy half. Offloads it there to Keith Neller, and the defence comes in with that strong shoulder charge with Sironen. Number 11 there. He's had a pretty fair game, this Peter Bell, in the second row. He's done some good things. He's a strong runner. Switching the play across the ruck. Out there to Brian Juliff, the prop forward, who's tends to try to walk forward off the play the ball a little bit. There's a nice weaving run, but the defence there quickly in the shape of Langmack. Good lock forward cover work there. And there's a kick back downfield. That's out of full. That's almost out of the ground. Way over the sideline. So that'll give... Yes, and one of the players who could perhaps be coming on as a replacement, although he may not be all that enthusiastic about it, is Michael O'Connor. He's with Graham Hughes.
Mike, first of all, congratulations on a great test match.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Would this be the strongest start for the Kangaroos, this Halifax performance?
Against us, yeah, I'd say without a doubt. They're playing with a lot of spirit, but I don't think the referee's helping things at all. He's not marking the 5-yard on both sides, and he's letting a lot of interference go on around the ruck play.
Fair bit of Australian knowledge out there, though, with Eadie and Anderson.
There certainly is, and they're a good side. They're playing with a lot of spirit, and Australia are going to have to watch themselves. It's 6-2 now, and you know, they're more than in the game.
Okay, well, if you're not too frozen yet, good luck if you get on.
Thanks very much, Graham.
And here they go with Meninga receiving a long pass. It's a try to Kenny, surely. Oh, yes, his beautiful footwork at the end of it, was able to ground the ball. A classy bit of football there. A long, long pass from Lamb, found Meninga, and then he was able to get the pass away to Brett Kenny. And that puts the scoreline at 10 points to 2. The crowd quietened down a bit. Watch the Lamb pass. He runs through the gap. Long floater out to Meninga. Gets outside the defence. Offloads to Kenny. Now watch the delightful footwork of Kenny. In, away, and in again. Beautiful stuff. Hague comes to him, but he's still able to get over and ground the ball. So 10 points to 0. A kick and goal to follow from the sideline, or 5 metres in from it. And it'll be Terry Lamb trying to add the extras. Terry Lamb, as I mentioned, 10 metres in, perhaps 7 metres in from the sideline. And he's right on the quarter. Has the big, deep breath. Goes back off his short run. The breeze is across him slightly, and it won't be any simple kick from this direction. 10 points to 2 at the moment. Lamb on the move. Strikes it. It's well away to the right. The breeze a little bit more forceful than we thought. So the score remains as it was. Australia 10, Halifax 2. 28 minutes gone as the kick-off comes. It's been fielded out there by Lamb. Lamb's on the accelerate, gets it back on the inside to Mortimer. Mortimer had a quiet match up to now, and now the referee's going to rule that there was a shepherd. There have been several of those. He let one blatant one by the Australians go earlier, I thought, during the Lamb try, where I thought Alexander and Meninga may have shepherded, but nonetheless, he's pinged that one. That penalty really takes the count along now to a pretty hefty one, 7-2 in Halifax's favour. Chris Preece was taking the tap here. He's just inside the quarter. Away it goes to Stevens. Stevens on the boil to Nell. Nell comes straight and hard. And he's tackled effectively and toughly too by Mortimer. Now the Halifax side trying to wind themselves up. Juliff comes on the open side of the ruck. They're running a little bit one out. They're enthusiastic. I think a kick's been called for. Stevens gets a pass away. He runs into a hornet's nest, but he still manages to pop a pass. It's been put out there to Peter Bell. Bell gets a pass away. It's gone out to Smith, the wing three-quarter, to Scott Wilson, the wing three-quarter, and he's finally tackled about 15, 20 metres out. One of the Halifax players walk off the mark and try to push the Australians away from them. That is something that would certainly bring a penalty at home. A little bit of wrestling going on out there with Paul Dunn showing his strength. And there was Paul Dixon. The little Stevens kick now goes through. Sironen goes high for it and beautifully marks that, takes it and brings it back a couple of metres. That was good stuff by the big fella. Mind you, he reaches the sky. He's about 6'6", and he leapt high for that and did very, very well. Chris Mortimer now coming away with a strong run. Elias there to Dunn. Dunn gets a beautiful pass away. It's out to Davidson. Davidson's got support in the shape of Kenny. Looks for support, gets a pass there to Meninga. The referee's going to rule on that as a forward pass. An offside pass, perhaps. The idea was excellent. I tend to agree with the referee. No, he's just ruled forward. And I tend to agree with the referee that Kenny, by the fact of holding the pass up, did have Meninga in front of him. Now, watch it yourself and be the judge. I believe that was about half a metre forward, that pass. And the referee is not going to get any criticism from me. The scrum going down and is weaving around here right on the halfway line. It's in and it's out the Great Britain side, at the Halifax side, and Hague drops the ball. And that's an unfortunate thing to see a player put one down with no pressure. So it'll be an Australian scrum feed now with Alexander to put it in. And as Graham Hughes mentioned earlier, the only problem that Australia have got at the moment is the one of, well, conceding penalties, which is becoming a bit of a blight. That's 8-2, the penalty count. But they're pushing passes at critical moments when they don't need to. They should settle the play down. Easy thing to say. All these young men are trying to impress. Awful kick from Whitfield. Nearly wiped your commentator out. And now we've got the tap restart from Preece, getting it there on to number 8, and he comes straight and hard. Juliff, one of the open side prop forward, now onto Stevens. Stevens changes direction, sights a little opening, goes through it, takes play up to the Australian quarter, then crawls about 3 yards on his knees. That's a quite definite penalty in my view. The lock forward there, Grant Rix, ran a bit sideways there. Out to Anderson. Anderson throwing for the cutout pass, gets it straight to Eadie, and Eadie is well handled by Mal Meninga. They have a bit of a chat with each other. Anderson's gone for the kick ahead. He's through after it. It's going to be another penalty. I don't really think that was a penalty. I don't really think. A player doesn't have to get out of the way of a man that's kicked the ball. I mean, a player that's kicked the ball has got to go round the players. You don't get a free passage. I think that's a little bit unfortunate, that one. I really don't believe he was interfered with to any great extent. That, to me, was a very one-eyed and dumb decision by the referee. All right, let's see now. Whitfield is going to have this kick. He's had 1 from 2. And I think we're about the 32nd minute of play at the moment. My statistician is just working on that one. And Whitfield's about 20 metres in from the sideline. Perhaps a fraction less, maybe 19 metres, and he's on the quarter line. The breeze is across his kick. He'll aim it at the right-hand upright. The score is, as it was, 10-2 in favour of Australia. He strikes that exactly the same way as he struck the first one. And that's gone to Mortimer. Mortimer offloads it out to Lamb. Looks to support, straightens, beats 1, 2. Weaves, comes back cross-field. It's been a very long diagonal run, but not much in the way of progress up the field from Terry Lamb. Benny Elias on to Dunn. Dunn goes on the surge. He's had a powerful game. Looking for support on occasions, but his hands have been pretty well locked to his side in the tackle. Now Bella, who's unfortunately lost a few balls. He had Sironen on the outside, couldn't offload the pass. Elias, Alexander, Lamb to Meninga. Meninga accelerates, gets a pass away there to Mortimer. Mortimer out to Cleal. Cleal doing a bit of a size 7 shuffle. Comes back midfield. He's winding up. Swings the pass to Kenny. Kenny accelerated like lightning then. The man's got built-in superchargers. Astonishing acceleration. Alexander looking for support. Out to Elias. Then on to Dunn. Nice pass out to Cleal. Cleal throws the dummy. Can't get through the defence. They take him down 15 metres out now from the Halifax line. 10 points to 2 the score. Now Elias at dummy half. Away to Alexander. Alexander's gone for a little kick through. It was a nebulous looking kick. It's well fielded by Stevens. And Stevens comes out to the Halifax quarter line where he has the ball stolen from him according to the referee. And that is a penalty against Sironen, and that is now becoming an absolute horror. The penalty count is 10-2. And I do fear that this referee is refereeing one side only. I was prepared up until about 20 minutes ago to say that the referee was putting on what I'd call a stock refereeing performance. I do believe he's now just watching one side. Halifax trailing 10-2, and it's Juliff who's had his legs ended from underneath him there by Sironen. Out there to Chris Preece. Preece gets a pass back away there, and it's number 12, Paul Dixon, coming through, and Stevens, one of the better players in this Halifax team, comes through in one of his little jinking runs. Preece out there to Anderson. Anderson out there to Neller, the Brisbane boy, who had last season with them. I believe Martin Bella played with them last year too. Out to Anderson. Anderson looking for support. The ball's been knocked down. It should be a knock-on and play-on. The referee's going to play the double knock-on rule that we see in English football, but not in Australian football. Now we're going to have a Australian player cautioned, are we? Well, Alexander's the player that's going to be spoken to. No, it's Paul Dunn. And, well, I'd like to point out to him that not so long ago there was a Halifax player went above the shoulders quite convincingly on an Australian and nothing was said. 11-2 in favour of the Halifax side. That's the penalty count, but the score is 10-2 in Australia's favour. 2 tries and a goal. Halifax running from right to left in the stripes. Now Stevens calling for the ball. He's looking for that player that's pretty near non-stop involved, Peter Bell. He's to his feet and playing it. Stevens again, switching the ball a lot from one side of the ruck to the other. There's Anderson, the captain coach, getting a workout from a couple of the Australian boys. Martin Bella was one. Long floating pass out there to Paul Dixon. He was looking for a runner on the outside, but the defence came in quickly from Benny Elias. Got up and played it with a marker in front of him. This is a joke. I hope this bloke doesn't get the second test. The Pots will win it. That pass has gone down, and now the referee says play on. It's gone to Kenny. If Kenny can get into the clear, he can score. He just tripped at the last minute. He had nobody in front of him and about 40 metres to go. Stevens is all over him like the Black Death. Dunn pops a pass nicely to Davidson. Davidson stands in the tackle, gets it to Mortimer. Chris Mortimer goes hard and straight. He gets a Cumberland throw put on him. Paul Dixon's the man that did it. Now Australia out to Elias, Alexander, Lamb away to Davidson. Bit of a dust-up going on midfield. Out to Meninga, and Belcher's in for a try. And the dust-up's going on here at the moment. It's quite a socko. We'll pick... And this, I hope, doesn't develop into anything more. But Australia, in the meantime, have scored a try. Paul Dunn was the Australian player. And I believe it was number 8 there. Brian Juliff was the Halifax man. Graham Hughes, you had a good eyesight view of that one. I was watching the try being scored.
They've been at it all the way through this first half, both of these guys. I've been watching them in the front row. A lot of headbutting going on in the scrums. It had to happen. Dunn unloaded the ball. He was hit late. That was enough for Paul Dunn. He said, let's settle all the accounts and get it out of our systems here and now. And it went on and on and on. And and I can tell you that they must be very tired boys. They let about a dozen or more punches go each.
Well, they're both. Dunn's going for 10 minutes. Now, do we get to see his own, the Halifax player go? Yes, it looks as though Juliff's going. And have a look at the try coming up now. Beautiful work there from Langmack, passing out there to Meninga. Meninga getting it to Belcher. Belcher going in wide out. And the referee's disallowed the try. He awarded the try in that corner. Well, I don't know. This bloke, I hope we don't get him for the second test. England will win by 40 points. Oh, we've got a penalty. There's a little bit of a get square just coming in, and if you don't mind me just showing a little bit of rugby league experience here. The referee, I think, feels embarrassed about the disallowing of a perfectly good try and has gone for the get square. And that get square involves giving a penalty from a set scrum. As he worked tip at this bloke. I'll give you the tip. Okay, the kick for touch. I get the heckles stand up on the back of my neck when I see a serve like this given to a football team. Out to Belcher. Belcher throwing the dummy. And there's good defence there from Anderson, who's still not lacking in pace, despite the fact of his senior... Oh, Alexander's just gapped him. Gone right through from dummy half and scored a try in the corner. Well, there you are. He's even it up, as my director has just said, but really, it should be another 4 points further on. In my view, it was a legitimate try disallowed by an ordinary referee. So that's the score. We've got it up to 14 points to 2. A kick at goal will follow. Alexander receiving congratulations as he meanders back. That came right out of the blue, that one. He just threw a little dummy to the right and ran the blind. Stevens was done for pace totally, the halfback opponent, and there really wasn't a hand laid on him. Graham Eadie was probably the closest Halifax player to him on that occasion. So a difficult attempted goal from right on the sideline here. And he's about 3 metres short of the quarter line. All right, Terry Lamb. And as I said in the preamble at the start, if you don't have a coat on tonight, you just don't own one. Here comes Lamb. Lamb's got a good-looking kick away, and it just fades across the open side. So the score remains as it was. Australia 14, Halifax 2. The score at the half-time break. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the second half action in just a moment. A significant other statistic is that Australia trial 11-3 in the penalty count at this stage. Okay, from the kick-off. Oh, and a strong, rock-solid tackle there by Mal Meninga. It's absolutely decked. I think it's Juliff, and he's down for the count. Oh, he's just slightly getting to his feet now. No, it was Peter Bell, and he really took a hell of a knock. Australia on the attack now and taking play through Lamb into the Halifax quarter. Elias works the blind side, gets it away to Bella. Bella tears through the first row of defence, but there's plenty more there. Very enthusiastic performance by Halifax today. Benny Elias, I thought a little bit of a knock on there. He's run a little bit negatively there, running across field, looking for runners and not able to find one. Stevens still over the top of Elias. Out it goes from Davidson to Alexander, then on to Lamb. Lamb tries to go through the defence there. Can't do so. There's plenty of it. Hague was there with a good, strong tackle. Lamb gets to his feet. He was belted back to the ground again. Away to Alexander. A little bit kick. It's been picked off by an England player, and it was knocked on in the attempt. So it'll be a scrum to go down, and it'll be an Australian feed. Now, of course, during this match, as in all the matches we're televising, I'll be doing a 3-2-1. An award of points for the National Panasonic Player of the Tour. So at the end of each match. Yes, and what a marvellous prize for that football of this tour. $5,000 worth of National Panasonic product, and that is really top quality gear. Now we've got a penalty just been awarded from the set scrum, and that's a differential penalty. And it's not a bad sort of a kick. It's hit one of the lampstand. It's on the grandstand side. Halifax have only got 12 men on the paddock at the moment. I've just been informed. There's the replacement player, Bevins coming on. And up they come now with very strong work from Keith Neller. of the Australians in the Halifax side. Out to Hague. Hague switches it back to Stevens. He finds a little gap halfway through there. Goes underneath one tackle. Got himself into the clear. It's away there to Keith Neller. And it took very good defence there by both Terry Lamb and Langmack, who's been well positioned to defend on a number of occasions. Away there to number 11, Peter Bell. And he's tackled on the Australian quarter. Little Stevens has been really belying his age. Oh, well half volleyed there by number 12. Beautiful bit of football by Paul Dixon to half volley that pass and pick it up on the move. Now we're looking for the little grubber kick through. It's been well pulled down by Sironen again. That's the second occasion he's pulled off a reflex catch for such a huge man. He's got reflexes like a cat. Belcher trying to run round him, man. Was plenty of pace there, though, because Keith Neller was able to pick his legs off nicely. Australian players starting to creep into an era of standing too shallow in the rucks, not standing deep enough to give themselves room to run on. Alexander onto Sironen. Comes up over the quarter line. Gets to his feet, thinks about playing it forward, doesn't do so. On from Alexander to Davidson. Davidson hit hard there by two defenders. Beavers won, the new player, Beavers. And now the kick downfield by Lamb is not going to find touch. It breaks back on the inside. Langmack's up there, a good chaser. He'll probably pull off the tackle. He does. He slows him down enough for the defence to get there. Chris Mortimer, two of the Canterbury players on the side. Noted club for having good, strong chasers. Hague, the 5'8", gets a pass away there to Chris Preece. And he's dicked straight away on the quarter line. The crowd booing the referee for not penalising Australia. Well, I think they ought to look the other way in the rucks and see just where Halifax are allowed sometimes to stand. 14 points to 2, Australia lead, but have been up against a very spirited team. That's a kick that's gone straight to Crusher Cleal. Was attempted to go back downfield, and Cleal's showing a clean pair of heels, and he's got himself over the quarter, gives it out to Belcher. Belcher's going to go close, and they finally get him over the sideline about 2 metres out. Great run there, and a good feeling of a kick by big Crusher Cleal. Belcher, I thought perhaps easy to criticise, could have come out on the inside, but he certainly was effectively helped. Well, continuing on, the scrum going down, and it'll be and there's a penalty to Australia. Now Stevens is really muttering and mouthing off there at the... he should be penalised for kicking the ball away too, which is another thing that would happen in Australia. Now it's a differential penalty, so Benny Elias gives it to Bella, and he's going to take it up from here and see what they can do. They're going to work a move. No, they're going to kick for touch. They'll get it right in a minute. Now they've got a dozen moves they can put on in these situations. Now we still keep getting that other ball coming on the field. And as the Australians come close to the Halifax line, the two players that were sin bin come back. That's Dunn and number 8, Brian Juliff. There's Meninga getting a pass back on the inside to Belcher, and Belcher's in. Very, really soft bit of football there. One of the Halifax players resenting the try, wanting to go on with Belcher, but it doesn't really, after the try scored, no point. It's a straight-out switch move that they worked this morning with Benny Elias getting a backhanded flick pass away to Meninga and Belcher backing up on the inside. Easy done. Took a lot of practice to perfect, and it's a very, very good move. It's only one of a dozen they can use. They've all got different names. So that score hastens on now to 18 points to 2 in favour of the Australian side. Notwithstanding, Halifax have put up a spirited display. Terry Lamb attempting this conversion from about 8 metres in from the sideline and just inside the quarter. No easy kicks tonight with this breeze. Here he comes now. He's just measuring out the run. One of a few straight-on kickers in rugby league these days. Lamb strikes it beautifully. Looks great. It is a beautiful goal from the sideline. So Terry Lamb hastens that score onto 20 points to 2 in Australia's favour. from the kickoff. Back come the Halifax team, kicking deep, getting it to Belcher. Belcher on to Meninga. Meninga running powerfully, gets through 3 defenders, looking for support on the outside, gets it to Kenny. Lovely run past to Kenny. Kenny's up the inside, gets it away there to Alexander, and he's cupped on the face, and he's left him pointless. It's a great sprint. Oh, yeah. Oh, read it and weep, Halifax. Meninga set it up back in his quarter, and the Kangaroo side are applauding themselves, and they've got every reason to. They should be delighted. Meninga just creamed off 3 defenders there in a diagonal run. Watch it as Belcher brings it out in the replay. Now watch this man mountain, this colossus, go across field and push him out of the way. 1, 2, he's done already, and then he looks for Kenny. Could you see a better sight at the end of a passing chain than Kenny? Poor little Stevens there, the little halfback, done for pace, and look at the pass back, and watch the acceleration now. Alexander just goes zop, and away he goes so comfortably. Just a beautiful sight. Kenny and this young, spirited young halfback doing his level best, scoring 2 great tries tonight. So Terry Lamb to be given a very simple kick and goal from directly in front, which he should have thank Alexander for. 26 points to 2 at this stage. There it is. 26 points to 2 in favour of the Australian side. The Lamb conversion being successful. And I think the writing is well and truly on the wall now. Unless the Australians ease off, this could finish up a 35 or 40 score. Okay, the kickoff. 9 minutes gone in the second half, fielded by Sironen. Lovely little step there he's developing, I'm pleased to see. We had a chat about that today at training. And the young man obviously is a listener, Langmack, who's not been all that spectacular in attack, but has done some very, very good things in defence. On a couple of occasions when Halifax looked like that. Oh, and Bella's gone right through the middle of the ruck. He's looking for support, but he did the right thing. He was tackled from behind by Stevens, who's arguably their best player. There's an ordinary pass being put out. Sironen goes for the strongman stuff. But Bella did exactly the right thing. He was tackled from behind just as he was going to offload, and he decided against it. I wanted Dunn trying to tear his way, Bella-like, through the middle of the ruck. Couldn't do that. Elias at dummy half. He's looking for a crisscross move. It goes to Alexander instead, then to Lamb. Little kick over the top. It's like the charge of the Light Brigade, but they've all missed the ball. And Hague, that was a rather funny sight, really, because there were 4 Australians all pouring through, just like the charge of the Light Brigade, and they all overran the ball. Halifax back in possession now. The replacement, Beavers, comes streaming through the middle of the ruck. I don't think he's the physique of a player that's going to last a long while. He doesn't look all that fit to me. Out there it goes to, I think it's Dixon, and he gets hit hard out on the right. Halifax, 26 points to 2 down. Nothing on except for them, except Sironen starting to do some magnificent defensive work right round the boot tops, this giant of a player. And now on the last tackle, Halifax still 10 metres their own side of halfway, doing it really hard, getting the ball. And it's taken there from the kick to Cleal. Cleal up the sideline, gets rid of one so easily. And he really is like a Sherman tank when he's on the charge. Out to Alexander, now to Langmack. Langmack on the charge too. Takes play 10 metres into Halifax's half. Dunn on the open side of the ruck, calls for it. Dunn offloads to Bella. Bella trying to stream through the side of the ruck and looking all the time to offload. He's played some strong stuff. Langmack limping in the background now on a left foot that's giving him a bit of trouble. Alexander, beautiful pass to Lamb. Lamb's looking for support, pops it to Meninga. Meninga will go in and score. Oh, delightful stuff. Absolutely exquisite stuff. A real touch of class there from Alexander. Beautiful stuff. And Kenny comes over to give the young man a congratulations. One of the senior players talking to one of the junior ones. See the replay and enjoy it, as I'm going to do. Elias, look at Alexander's footwork and acceleration. The popping of the pass to Lamb on the outside. Lamb running as evasively as you can ever hope to see, and sucks the defence to him of Eadie and gets that pass away to Big Mal. And Big Mal, baby, let me tell you, knows the way to go, and he's gone in underneath the post, giving Terry Lamb a very simple attempted goal. 30 points to 2, about 10.5 minutes of the second half gone. And now's the time, if you're in the opposition, you develop a limp. Paul Langmack is still limping slightly, but he's okay. I think he's not going from the field. Okay, now we've got Lamb from directly in front. 10 metres out. Having a nice evening. And away she goes, over she goes, and it's 32 points to 2, Australia. Well, nothing would surprise me. we may not have a try, according to sources, but it's going to be a penalty to Halifax. It's going to be a penalty to Halifax. Do you believe that? You've seen it. I'm referring to a couple of the people in the commentary position with me, and we have just seen a perfectly good try scored by Alexander, and on the touch judge's report, ostensibly, we do have no try. We have a penalty to Halifax. I hope this bloke goes to church tomorrow morning. All right, and we're going to quibble over a few points. The score is still very much in favour of the Australian side. Halifax now going through the motions. We've had around about... how long have we had? 18 minutes of play in the second half. Halifax have not gone anywhere near scoring a try. A couple of times they've made little breaks around the midfield, but it's soon been closed up. And probably Stevens, their little halfback, has been one of their better players. Whitfield has done some good things. And indeed, Peter Bell, the number 11, the second row forward, has shown a great ability to run into gaps. Here's Halifax now moving it out to the replacement player Beavers that came on. Oh, Alexander, the pace of him, the sheer beautiful speed of him. Back inside to Cleal. Cleal gets it back inside to Langmack. Langmack gives it to Mortimer. The referee again, almost predictably, I might say, almost predictably, has given a forward pass. Well, when we come to think of this game, if they only get to the score they're at the moment, which is 32 points to 2, we must take into account a possible 3 or 4 other tries that could well, and 2 were actually awarded, and then disallowed. Yes, Graham Hughes, you've got some news.
One change for Halifax. Fairbank's about to go into the forward pack, and Bell, the man to come off for Halifax.
All right. Now, let's see. We've had a differential scrum penalty awarded while Graham was talking. It's gone to Australia. It's a differential penalty. Meninga. Now we've got to change the ones that Graham was talking about, preparing to come on the field. The referee asking for, well, they're replacing Peter Bell, number 11, who I thought has been in the crowd, think too, has been one of their very good players, the Halifax side. And the replacement comes on. Okay, the tap restart has been taken. Up to be. Benny Elias is the man. Just outside, inside the quarter. Onto Anderson, onto Alexander, rather, onto Lamb. Lamb there strongly to Dunn, and Dunn surging through. Has had a very powerful game. Not been able to liberate the ball from his grasp as he would like, because he is the natural ball distributor. But he's been a pretty useful player. Lamb, Alexander has his pass knocked down. It's going to be picked up by Meninga. That'll be 6 to go. Sironen gets a long pass out there to Langmack. Langmack steams up the blind side. He's tackled on the quarter line. Now they're standing too shallow at the moment, the Australian side. They need a little bit of depth. Davidson gets to his feet. It's out to Elias. Then to a nice pass out there to Mortimer. Mortimer to Cleal, and Clears goes up the sideline. He's kicked ahead. It's going to be a race to the ball. Lamb will get to it, and it's a try. Do we deduce it's a try? I'm not going to be sure until I see the kick and goal come. The referee is having a deliberation. I'm sure he pointed at the spot. It is a try. Lamb was the scorer of it, and it came from a kick ahead. But watch the workout that Cleal has been giving his opposite number here all night. I feel desperately sorry for this young fella who can't do anything. He's done for pace and done for size, and I think he's done for TikTok. And there's Cleal getting a kick ahead off the right foot. The race is on. Terry Lamb was always there in those situations. Some of the very great post-war, shall we say, support players. one of the very great ones. And now Alexander going off limping. And Michael O'Connor will come on, so one presumes that Lamb will go to halfback. And we will see a shuffle in the three-quarter line. So Lamb is featuring very strongly again tonight. That's his second try. And he's also come up with, I think, 4 goals. Okay, we'll give that information out on Alexander. The kick by Alexander is hooked, and the score remains as it was, 36 points to 2. And the information on Greg Alexander is a corked thigh. And that's where this game is being won by the solid work of the forwards as the Halifax side come up with a scrum win. But it's done them precious little good. A net loss there, actually, from the position the scrum was fed. And still those Australian forwards, Dunn, Sironen, assisted by Lamb on that occasion, pounding in and defending with all their worth. Langmack too, putting in a strong and solid tackling performance. Nice passing of the football there. And Chris Mortimer, very professional, got it away to the wing three-quarter, who's going to wish that tonight would go away and never come back, Scott Wilson. He's been made look a goose by Crusher Cleal on about 4 or 5 occasions. Easy to criticise. He's only a little bloke. There's a loose pass being thrown. Elias could score a try here. He's going to score. No, he's coupled and thrown about 2 metres short of the line. And it was a pretty useful 1-2 by Stevens, and now it's going to be a penalty. And Benny Elias will take the tap there, looking for tries. Oh, that was a terrible pass from Elias. Went straight between the legs. O'Connor picks it up, and he's belted to the ground about 18 metres out. There's a great big opening on the right-hand side. He can drive a horse and bray through it. Elias throws the dummy, and again overdoes it. Oh dear, Benny, you mustn't overdo it at dummy half, son. He gets a little bit too dressy, too flashy at times, and it's just not called for. Oh dear. That will be one that'll make Don Furner tear his hair out. There was a clumsy bit of work from Elias, and then another Australian player dropped the ball forward. Hague throws a pass. It was almost an orthopaedic pass, that one. You fill the hospital beds with those. But on that occasion, the player came out scot-free. Stevens gets it away to Eadie. Eadie goes the long pass to Wilson. Wilson goes upfield. There's a ton of defence there. This poor bloke, he really is having a very, very uncomfortable night. Away comes Eadie, running off a support, and gives a nice pass there to Preece. And Preece loses the ball backwards. And the ball's gone back. It's been kicked through by Elias. It's gone to Eadie. Eadie's wound up, and Eadie's into the clear, looking for support. Gets a nice pass away there to Hague. Hague's tackled well by Terry Lamb. Up over the halfway line. A great run by the former great Manly Warringah, New South Wales and Australian fullback. Here come Halifax now with Stevens. He's tackled midfield. Fine run by the big fella. I don't know that he'll be looking for another one soon, but he certainly looked like the Eadie of old there, just momentarily, and gave a very good, well-timed pass at the end. Stevens dummying, gets it a pass away. Oh, there's a beautiful bit of football there. The long pass has been put out there. It's been kicked forward by Belcher, who should get a penalty for being held. And Australia cut with possession. Now it's knocked on. Are we going to get the penalty for the Belcher tackle without the ball? You bet your life we're not. We're going to give Halifax the ball, says the referee, Mr. Beaumont. And now they'll come up with a penalty. No, the referee's gone. Referee's rules now. Belcher stands his man up. That's that poor, unfortunate left winger. He gets it away to Mortimer. Mortimer back to Belcher. Belcher inside and out. Gets a pass back there to O'Connor. O'Connor went too flash. Tried to do a reverse pass and ricocheted off an Australian, and has gone to a Halifax player. Indeed, it went to Stephen Smith. All right, Halifax back in possession near their own line. And they're doing it very, very tough at the moment. They seem to have no real way through this Australian defence. We've got an Australian player, I think it's Elias down at the moment, writhing in pain. As away comes Steve Smith with a run through the middle of the ruck. The referee says, I want to stop the play because we've got this player down. So the score as we stop the play is 36 points to 2. And I commend to you, watching this game, the number of tries that could have been, that would have been, that weren't. 28 minutes have gone. Graham Hughes, you've got the captain coach of this Halifax side there. See what his opinion is of the way this game has gone.
Chris, you'd have to be happy with the first half performance by your son.
Yes, I've been very pleased with the effort, Graham. The boys have tried very hard, and I think the first half we showed plenty of spirit.
I'd have to put it on you here in 82 with the side they tagged the Invincibles. I know you probably don't want to try and compare the teams, but how good are they?
This side's a very good side, very big, very quick, very big. It's always hard to compare sides, I think. I think 82, it's going to always be hard to beat. Not losing a game, but this side is going to go very close to that, I think.
What about this referee? I know you've been on the end of some canings with Australian teams, but I guess it was nice to be on the end of a few penalties in the first 40.
Yeah, we got a few penalties still. I don't think he's been all that good either way. I think he's been very ordinary referee, which hasn't helped the game much at all.
Well, where did the English side go from here, Chris? Are they picking the right players in the test matches?
I don't think so, mate. I don't think it's the best side they can pick. I think they can do better. I think after hiding like that, you've got to come out and change a couple of players, I think.
Back to Kenny. Kenny goes close, and there's good defence there. Coming across from Grant Rix to get him down only about 8 metres out from the line. He's had the jersey pulled over his head. The Australian side trying to run it back across the open, and it was Bella there coming through hard. He's tackled about 15 metres out, taking a long while to get to his feet. Benny Elias has recovered. He's at dummy half. Ordinary pass to Meninga. Got it away to Dunn. Dunn gets a pass there to Langmack. Flick pass back on the inside. It's gone to Dunn. Dunn streams away. It's got to Belcher. Belcher chiming into the back line almost at will. Now the Australian fullback. Last tackle coming up. What's the tactics? Will it be the kick that they sometimes put on? Here's Michael O'Connor gone for the grubber kick through. It's gone right between a player's legs. Lamb's there. Lamb's chasing. Loves to get the centre of the ball in the open. And now Lamb pulls off the defence. As the Halifax player, Wilson, was able to pick up the ball. He got to him and put him down. Meninga there belted his opponent there down hard to the ground. And this is where the Halifax side are really finding it difficult. The size and power of the Australians in defence has been monumental. They just belt them and stop them stone dead. They're not given much sort of encouragement to keep going. There's a good little run, a gain of about 7 or 8 metres, one of the few ones. Out they go. It gone out to Wilson on the wing there. He's well handled and put down strongly. Steve Smith, I should say. Now he's had the ball stolen from him. It's out to Dunn. Dunn gets a pass away. It's been knocked down. It's the play on. Well, how could he have knocked it on? He knocked it behind him. He was facing his own goal line, knocked it behind him, and then went and retrieved the ball. Well, I think Chris Anderson put a masterpiece of understatement when he said this referee hasn't been very good at all for either side. Well, I suggest that he's probably refereed one side a little bit closer than the other. Well, he certainly astonished me with some of his rulings. Gary Stevens to feed this scrum. And this scrum is just inside the Halifax half. It's one out to Hague. He gets a pass away on the outside to Eadie. Eadie tries to go through the defence. He's got support there coming around him. And that was a pretty good run around too from Paul Dixon. He came from the scrum. And the second rower got himself involved in the play out in the flank. That's good stuff. Eadie winding up, going straight and hard. Goes to Davidson, gets a pass away, loses it. It's on the ground. It's still on the ground. It's got to be a knock-on, about 25 of them in there. And that will be an Australian put into the scrum. Belcher gets the ball. No, he doesn't. Langmack picks it up, goes round the blind side of the ruck where he's tackled well by arguably their best, second best forward, Paul Dixon. Lamb onto Dunn. Dunn straight and very, very direct player. He's had a strong game. Benny Elias, the switch of play up to Cleal. Cleal's damaging. My heavens, he's run like an absolute... There's a bit of soccer being played by Michael O'Connor. If he gets a bounce, no, he couldn't do it. The ball didn't come up high enough, but he tried to soccer the ball through. It was a knock-on by an Australian player. Eadie there, getting disentangled from Benny Elias. It wasn't a brawl. It was just a little bit of a stalemate. Neither could disentangle themselves from the other. The score, repeating it, is in the order of 36 points to Australia, 2 to Great Britain. Oh, yeah. Well, it's around about the same standard at the moment. But anyway, 36 points to 2, Australia and Halifax. Stevens comes up with a scrum win there for the Halifax side. They're in their own quarter. And he's rolling around there a little bit like a snail being turned over on its back. And that young fellow, the young winger, Wilson, comes in midfield there. He'll want to stay out of that department. Yeah, around about 5 minutes to go at this stage, and the boys must be reasonably happy with their display. Certainly 16-2 at half-time has been translated into a big win. But here's a ball change of possession now to Sironen. He charges straight ahead. Now they need to settle quickly because Halifax are in a bit of disarray and get a bit of depth in their attack. Crusher Cleal's come early, midfield a little bit in a centre position. Got it out to O'Connor and on Crusher now. He wants to go midfield. He's hopped and skipped. He's got a pass away there to Davidson. Davidson gets it nicely to Sironen. Gets a pass back to Mortimer. Mortimer goes through the defence. Can't get a pass away. Lost it forward. That's a correct decision by the referee. The ball's come up Halifax's way. And Stevens is there. He's got it out there to the replacement player, Dirk Fairbank. And he's tackled just 10 metres outside the Halifax quarter. I mentioned earlier we'll be going to give 3, 2 and 1 on the National Panasonic Player of the Tour for each match that we televise, and a magnificent $5,000 worth of product going to the player that we select as the player. A bit of a punch-up going in here, and now Mal Meninga's got involved, and he sorted out one of them here, who started to take a few cheap shots at his one of his own players, and Big Mal there really put in a couple of very heavy ones that would have done credit to perhaps a heavyweight boxer. Mind you, he's about the weight of a heavyweight boxer. We'll have a look at this little altercation. It started around about here. And as you can see there, Keith Neller, the Australian, gets involved. And then it goes Brian Juliff, the player that was sin-binned earlier, started to belt into one of the Australians. So Meninga thought, I'll get involved, and gave him half a dozen good ones around about the breadbasket area, which is calculated to give you a shirt full of sore ribs at the end of the night. Now the referee and touch judge in there having plenty to say. Graham Eadie's being spoken to. The penalty is going to go to the Australian side, and I think one of the Halifax players was asking for the ball. Martin Bella had a gigantic smile on his face then and said, no chance, buddy. Okay, time running right out, perhaps about 3 minutes or so to go. And the score 36 points to 2. And lovely hands out here to Lamb. On to Meninga. Meninga's looking for support. Gets it to Belcher. Belcher goes straight. Now he jigs back on the inside. Good weaving run. He's tackled about 10 metres out from the Halifax line. They should ping it out to the right pretty smartly. There's an overlap right if they can do it. But Cleal has decided he wants to have a go up the middle and does just that. Gets to within about 5 metres. Benny Elias out to Lamb. Lamb looking for support. Out to well, the crowd went, oh, it was done, drop that, because we haven't seen a whole lot of drop ball by the Australian side. Some very sloppy passing, yes, but not a lot of drop ball by them, which is a good sign for their coach, Don Furner. Scrum going down just inside the Halifax quarter, well fed by Stevens. Out their side, they put the ball down. I think they're 5'8". Had a bit of a look there at the defence coming to him. He's knocked it on. And this now gives probably the last chance by Australia to score a try for this set scrum. Meninga and Cleal having a bit of a chat out in the outside centre wing position. There's a penalty gone to Halifax for an incorrect feed by Lamb. Eadie will take the kick for touch, perhaps. Yes, he's going to. Very, very cold here. Believe you me, Halifax is not the place you'd want to spend your summer holidays. And the kick was a good one from Eadie, taking place within about 12 metres now of the halfway line. 2 balls on the field. As there has been in many instances tonight, little ball boys throw them back onto the field for some reason or other. All right, on the charge comes Fairbank. He's knocked down about 8 metres short of the halfway line. Another slow motion run there by Keith Weller. On the blind side goes Preece. And he's just taken play over the halfway line. But the scoreline, 36 points to 2. As Stevens called for the ball, gets it out there to his centre. Oh, no, it's not. It's the second row forward, Paul Dixon, standing very wide. He got up, played the ball sideways then. He had a marker, played the ball sideways. He's facing sideways again. Now, they're doing probably the only method they've got at the moment is to go with the kick, chase. Benny Elias looks to support, gets it away to Michael O'Connor. O'Connor can't get through the defence there, which came to him in the shape of Scott Wilson. Cleal out to Bella. Bella winds up and goes straight and hard ahead. And there, I believe, is the hooter. That is the end of time. Bella gets up and resents a bit of a tackle. The kids come swarming on the field. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and give you the information of the scorers and also our 3-2-1 award.